Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Links are in the description below. Please show some love of the author and me. On to the show. Su Yan stored the super energy on the shell of the super spaceship. In this way, the shell of the super spacecraft can withstand the raging energy. After Su Yan built the shell of the super spaceship, Su Yan finally breathed a sigh of relief. No matter how powerful the energy of the super spaceship is, it cannot be stored in the shell for a long time. Once the super spaceship is destroyed, the energy in the super spaceship will also dissipate. Su Yan didn't dare to take risks, and stored all the energy inside the super spaceship in the super spaceship. This time, the energy inside the super spaceship is stored in the super spaceship. The space inside the super spacecraft is relatively large, but it is impossible for a super spacecraft to withstand such a huge amount of energy for a long time. If the energy of the super spaceship is all stored in the super spaceship, then the energy of the super spaceship will be exhausted soon, and the super spaceship will be damaged as a result. This also means that this super spacecraft will be completely scrapped. Su Yan is now worried that he can store the energy of the super spaceship, but he cannot make the super spaceship move forward. After all, the outer armor of the super spacecraft is very strong, and it is not something ordinary people can penetrate through the outer armor. So what should I do? This question is really confusing. Su Yan thought for a long time, but had no clue. Just when Su Yan couldn't figure it out, Su Yan suddenly had an idea and came up with a brilliant idea. Since it is impossible to store these super energies, then I will make the super spaceship bigger, so that I can store all of these super energies in the inner space of the super spaceship. Thinking of this, Su Yan became excited, and immediately made a decision. Su Yan made the interior of the super spaceship bigger and bigger, and finally the outer shell of the super spaceship can fully withstand the impact of super energy. In this way, Su Yan can also let the super spaceship leave the surface of the super spaceship. Now it depends on how much energy is stored outside. This super spaceship has such a large internal space, so the energy stored outside must be much more than that stored inside the super spaceship. Su Yan said, and then began to adjust the size of his super spaceship. The internal space of the super spaceship has become much larger, but the energy outside has more than doubled. Well, almost, it is such a big size, just right. Su Yan nodded, and then repaired the shell of the super spaceship perfectly. After repairing the shell of the super spaceship, Su Yan can perfectly store all the energy of the super spaceship in the inner space of the super spaceship. In this way, Su Yan doesn't have to worry that the super spaceship will be destroyed by super energy. After finishing these, Su Yan began to control and store all the energy outside in the inner space of the super spaceship. In this case, these energies will always exist in the super spaceship. Su Yan is now using these energy storages to store all of these energies in the inner space of the super spaceship. Then, Su Yan can use these energies anytime and anywhere, and through the shell of the super spaceship, all the energy inside the super spaceship can be drained for use. It can ensure that the super spacecraft will not be destroyed by external energy. After Su Yan finished these, on the top of the super spaceship, Su Yan made a protective cover, and wrapped the super spaceship inside. In this way, the energy inside the super spacecraft will not leak out casually. The inner space of the super spaceship is already in a state of chaos. Su Yan couldn't see these energies clearly at all, but Su Yan could see that the energies were surging outside at this moment. The speed of this emergence is also increasing, and it seems that an energy ocean can be formed immediately. At that time, the energy ocean outside will definitely destroy the super spaceship, and the super spaceship will definitely collapse at that time. What Su Yan can do now is to wait for the energy ocean of the outside world to wash away the super spaceship before Su Yan can continue to operate the super spaceship. However, it still takes a long time to consume the energy ocean outside the super spaceship, but Su Yan doesn't mind. After the external energy is exhausted, Su Yan can continue to control the super spaceship. Rumbling. At this moment, there was a burst of loud noise from outside, followed by Su Yan, who found that in the void outside, pieces of shattered planetary fragments all fell from the sky and fell to the ground. It seems that there is a powerful energy attacking here. Perceiving the situation outside, Su Yan's face became serious, because the energy from outside was continuously pouring into the super spaceship. It seems that we can only avoid it first. Su Yan shook his head. He knew that if he continued to stand outside, he would definitely be attacked by energy from outside. He had to find a hidden place to avoid the attack. Thinking of this, Su Yan controlled the super spaceship and headed for another galaxy. The galaxy where Su Yan is now is 10 million light-years away from the original planet. Such a distance, even for a space trip, is enough for a long time. There are super spaceships here. Su Yan believes that he should not be in danger. The super spaceship flies in the air and passes through the air at an extremely fast speed. The speed is very terrifying. At the position where Su Yan was just now, a huge energy wave slammed into the shell of the super spaceship. The outer shell of the super spaceship was struck by this energy wave, immediately producing a huge dent. There are many fine lines in this dent, which shows that this energy wave is very powerful. This energy wave has created some cracks in the outer shell of the super spaceship. Although the shell of the super spacecraft has a protective cover, it is only a defense and cannot resist energy impact. That's why there are cracks on the shell of the super spaceship, but these cracks seem to be relatively minor. Such a powerful force, if the shell of the super spaceship is not too strong, I am afraid my super spaceship will also be broken by the energy. Su Yan looked at the situation outside with lingering fear, and secretly sighed in his heart. Fortunately, the shell of the super spaceship was hard enough, so there was no problem. No matter, now is not the time to explore these. Quickly store all the energy of the super spacecraft in the internal space. Su Yan quickly stored the energy of the super spaceship in the inner space, and at the same time, Su Yan began to store energy on the outer shell of the super spaceship, so that all the energy outside would not overflow outside. Su Yan now wants to use the outer shell of the super spacecraft to absorb the energy from the outside, so that the energy can be stored in the inner space of the super spacecraft. In this case, there is no need to stop Su Yan's energy storage work. Otherwise, if all the energy outside leaks out, then Su Yan will be in trouble. However, the internal space of the super spaceship is not all smooth sailing, and the energy storage work will also cause some obstacles. Just like now, 560, Su Yan is constantly manipulating the energy of the outside world, so that all the energy from the outside world rushes towards the outside of the super spaceship, and then the outside energy hits the shell of the super spaceship above. Not only the energy outside, but also the energy inside the super spaceship also hit the outer shell of the super spaceship together. The continuous impact of the two kinds of energy made the shell of the super spaceship very fragile. Click click. The energy outside constantly impacted the super spaceship outside, causing countless cracks to appear on the outer shell. The shell of the super spaceship is made by a super civilization, and the materials are also very advanced, but it is still not something people with Su Yan's technological level can compete with. The shell of the super spaceship began to crack slowly. It seemed that the shell of the super spaceship was about to lose its hold and was about to shatter. Even if there are cracks in the shell of Su Yan's super spaceship, the super spaceship will not be completely broken. Su Yan also knows that the shell of a super spaceship is not so easily damaged, so the shell of a super spaceship can exist in such a strong way. Su Yan didn't know what was going on outside. Now, he can only continue to control the super spaceship, constantly moving towards the outside of the super spaceship. The super spaceship is constantly moving towards the outside, and the energy outside is also constantly impacting the outer shell of the super spaceship. This battle lasted for about a month. A month later, the super spaceship finally arrived at the place where the super spaceship shell was. Here is a very huge meteorite. The meteorite is very large, a full 1 million kilometers or so. What happened to this meteorite? How did it appear in this galaxy? Could it be that this is the galaxy that the Zergs attacked this time? After Su Yan came out of the super spaceship, he looked outside. The appearance of this meteorite has already shown some damage. Su Yan estimates that this meteorite has been seriously injured in this war. Su Yan took a look at the meteorite. There were also some cracks on the surface of the meteorite, which obviously suffered a lot of impact. However, the shell of this meteorite is really too strong. Even if the shell of this meteorite is broken, it will not have any effect on the super spaceship. Su Yan thought in his heart, and then he began to manipulate the super spaceship, preparing to leave this place. Humming. The super spaceship made a buzzing sound, and then the super spaceship flew up. Suji manipulated the super spaceship, left the planet where the meteorite was, and flew towards other galaxies. I don't know what's going on outside this galaxy, but I hope there will be a large interstellar base outside this planet. Su Yan thought silently in his heart. The new star field belongs to a star field, that is to say, he is now in an endless star field, and if he wants to go out, he needs to go to a large interstellar base. And now, he doesn't know which galaxy he is in. According to the records of the super spacecraft, the star field Su Yan is in should belong to the northernmost end of this star field, and the nearest large interstellar base has more than 12 million kilometers away. And the distance of more than 1 billion kilometers is an astronomical figure. With the speed of a super spacecraft, it will take at least 5 or 6 billion kilometers to reach it. I have no idea where that planet is. Su Yan thought to himself, the super spaceship has been flying outside for a month, but still hasn't found a large interstellar base. At this time, the super spacecraft has arrived at a star field called the Black Hole. The environment here is very harsh. There are some meteorites, nebulae, and meteorite belts everywhere, and on the outskirts of this star field, there are many space cracks, which may appear in the void at any time. These space rifts will tear apart all matter at will. Even a huge object like a super spaceship may encounter a devastating attack if it falls into it. The shell of the super spaceship, it is because of the shell of the super spaceship, when it is torn by these space cracks will appear. We must find a large interstellar base as soon as possible. Only in this way can the super spacecraft be repaired. Su Yan thought to himself. Under such an environment, the shell of the super spaceship is getting weaker and weaker. Su Yan feels that the shell of the super spaceship is about to fail. However, at this moment, Su Yan's body suddenly trembled. What happened? Surprised, Su Yan hurriedly controlled the super spaceship and adjusted his posture to avoid the shell of the super spaceship from collapsing, resulting in a huge energy explosion inside the super spaceship, causing energy disorder and causing huge damage. At this time, the interior of the super spaceship has already started to vibrate. Every corner of the super spaceship began to generate a trace of energy, which continuously radiated from every corner of the 2.8 super spaceship. Here is the interior of the super spaceship. How is this energy generated? Su Yan was puzzled. Where did these energies come from? With a thought in his mind, Su Yan manipulated the super spaceship, turned around and walked outside. The interior of the super spacecraft began to fly to the outside continuously. What's going on here? Could it be that these energies are transmitted from the inside of the super spaceship? No, how can these energies be produced inside the super spaceship? He observed carefully, and found that his super spaceship, when flying outside, continuously infiltrated from the outside, and then penetrated into the interior of the meteorite outside. Cracks appeared in these meteorites. These energies flow out from inside the meteorite? Su Yan looked at the situation inside the meteorite and couldn't help but be amazed. It turns out that this is the case. It seems that the interior of the meteorite actually contains these energies. Su Yan felt a little excited, because there must be a lot of energy inside the meteorite. The super spaceship has been flying outside for a month, but has not found a large interstellar base, which made Su Yan very anxious. Now, he has found a place where he can replenish energy stars. Call out. The super spaceship accelerated and flew towards the outside quickly. Inside the meteorite, a large number of space cracks appeared. Su Yan controls the super spacecraft, avoids these space cracks, and then flies out. After Su Yan's super spaceship flew for a few minutes, he suddenly felt an extremely terrifying attraction outside the super spaceship. The shell of the super spacecraft began to fluctuate violently, and some cracks began to appear on the shell. And inside the super spacecraft, some energy began to appear, and this energy was constantly passing away, rushing towards the outside. These energies are exactly what Su Yan has just collected. No, the super ship is about to collapse. 23. Su Yan couldn't help feeling tense. Although the super spaceship is powerful, after all, it is a very fragile weapon, just ordinary steel. If the shell is torn by these space cracks, the super spaceship will be shattered immediately. Su Yan quickly controlled the super spaceship, accelerated the speed of the flight, and flew forward continuously. Rumbling. Suddenly, a space crack flew in from the outside, and this space crack came to the front of the outer shell of the super spaceship in an instant. The shell of the super spaceship trembled violently, and then cracked layer by layer. The energy core inside the super spaceship also began to have some cracks. As the space crack approached, the shell of the super spaceship also collapsed. Su Yan's heart sank. The shell of the super spaceship was about to collapse. When the time came, the super spaceship would also be torn apart by the space crack, and he would also die. Su Yan looked at the interior of the super spaceship, and a look of anxiety flashed in his eyes. At this moment, a system prompt sounded in Su Yan's mind. Ding! Congratulations! You have discovered a meteorite containing extremely rich energy. Meteorite? What meteorite? Su Yan couldn't help being surprised when he heard this. This super spaceship has an endless supply of energy. Inside the super spaceship, Su Yan is the master, and also possesses endless space power. The interior of his super spacecraft is like a huge space container, and everything will be placed inside. The space inside the space container is infinite. This meteorite can actually generate some energy, causing signs of energy collapse inside the super spaceship? This meteorite, what? Su Yan's heart was full of curiosity. He wanted to know. What is this meteorite that possesses such a wonderful ability? With a light grasp of his palm, all the energy inside the super spaceship was absorbed by him. The interior of the super spacecraft began to gradually calm down. Su Yan's face also became lighter, and he finally stopped absorbing these energies. Huh. Su Yan took a deep breath. The energy inside the super spacecraft has been completely absorbed by him, and Su Yan is not satisfied with it. He knew in his heart that this kind of energy was really too little, and he didn't know the value of this meteorite, so it was not enough to make up for the loss of the super spaceship. However, he also understands that the loss of the super spaceship is considered relatively lucky. The energy reserve of the super spaceship is amazing, but the defense of the super spaceship is not as good as those super battleships outside, so Su Yan has no way to absorb all the energy inside the super spaceship. The defensive energy of the super spaceship is not much. Su Yan has absorbed about half of the energy and cannot continue to absorb it. The protective cover inside the super spaceship is almost broken. Rumbling. Outside the super spacecraft, many space cracks appeared again. The power of the space cracks was so amazing that the energy shield outside the super spacecraft began to tremble violently. In Su Yan's heart, he couldn't help feeling worried. The protective cover of the super spaceship is almost unable to withstand the attack of these space cracks. If the protective cover of the super spaceship is destroyed, Su Yan's life will also disappear. Su Yan quickly controlled the super spaceship and flew forward continuously, hoping to leave here quickly. The super spaceship keeps flying forward. The shell of the super spaceship is also cracking more and more. In the end, it was finally torn open by a space crack and turned into pieces. The shell fragments of the super spaceship fell down, smashing a gully on the ground. This gully extends into the distance. On the other side of the ditch, there was another black hole. In that black hole, countless energies are constantly rolling. These energies seem to have infinite life, and they seem to be constantly struggling to break out of the black hole and regain freedom. After the shell of the super spaceship is broken, the energy inside the super spaceship. It can't be stored anymore. All those energies poured into the black hole, and then were swallowed by the black hole. Su Yan looked at the super spaceship, his eyes widened. It never occurred to him that the explosion occurred before he had completely absorbed the energy inside the meteorite. The energy of the super spaceship has been consumed 7 to 88. If the shell of the super spaceship is torn again, it will really be completely scrapped. Those energies were all swallowed up by the black hole. Su Yan couldn't stop it at all. Su Yan was anxious. What to do to keep the super spaceship from exploding? Su Yan looked around, and with his sight, he saw some planets. These planets all exude a faint light, and on those planets, there are many human beings living on those planets. Could it be that those planets are the center of the universe? Su Yan thought to himself. Su Yan controlled the super spaceship and slowly approached those planets. The outer shell of the super spaceship is recovering bit by bit, and Su Yan can't help but look forward to it. Suddenly, on the planet in front, there was a sharp cry. Those flying on the planet in front suddenly flew towards the super spaceship. Su Yan looked at the people on those planets and couldn't help being shocked. They have wings on top of their heads. Su Yan was shocked. What's going on? Why does this happen? Su Yan was puzzled, but the speed of the super spaceship was too slow, and soon, those planets had already rushed in front of the super spaceship. Su Yan quickly steered the super spaceship to avoid those planets. At the same time, the interior of the super spaceship also continuously released light beams. These beams are so sharp they can cut through everything. The people on those planets immediately sensed the danger, their faces turned pale with fright, and then quickly ran away. Those human beings are very fast, they fly very fast, and they can fly thousands of kilometers in a few seconds. But Su Yan manipulated the super spaceship and could barely keep up with those people. Swish swish swish. All of a sudden, those human beings left behind a string of afterimages in the void. The speed was very fast, and they disappeared in the blink of an eye, like a cloud of black smoke. I don't know where they fled. Su Yan controlled the super spaceship, chasing those people in the void, but unfortunately, those people's speed was too fast. Su Yan's speed couldn't keep up at all. The speed of those people was many times faster than the speed of the super spaceship. Su Yan couldn't catch up at all. Wrong. Su Yan suddenly thought of something, and suddenly jumped out of the super spaceship. What's going on with these people? These people are clearly outsiders. Could it be that those people were attracted by that black hole? Su Yan thought in his heart. Su Yan immediately realized that the super spaceship was probably attracted by that black hole. How did this black hole form? Could it be because of the energy on the super spaceship? Su Yan thought about it, then quickly controlled the super spaceship and flew towards the black hole, ready to investigate clearly. The super spaceship slowly flew in front of the black hole. This black hole is very weird, it comes out of that place, and it absorbs all the surrounding matter. And this black hole is also slowly expanding. Once the black hole expands to a certain range, the outer shell of the super spaceship will definitely be torn off by the black hole. These human beings should also be attracted in, right? Su Yan thought, and then controlled the super spacecraft, slowly approaching the black hole. Su Yan looked at the black hole and thought in his heart, if the black hole does not expand, then he can retract the super spaceship to the inner space of the super spaceship, so that his super spaceship will not be hit by the black hole of erosion. Su Yan thought in his heart, and then controlled the super spaceship to approach the black hole. The speed of the super spacecraft was very fast, and soon entered the range of the black hole. The energy cores on the super spacecraft continuously emit light beams, attacking the black hole. However, when these energies hit the black hole, they were all bounced off. A black hole seems to have a very terrifying attraction, and the light beams are all bounced away, unable to harm the black hole. Su Yan is also observing the black hole and wants to find out the mystery. He wants to use the super high speed of the super spacecraft to enter the black hole and explore it. The ultra-high speed of the super spaceship is not the ordinary speed of light. It can easily travel through space. The shell of the super spaceship is also made of special materials. Even the light beam that exceeds the speed of light cannot damage the shell of the super spaceship. Su Yan controls the super spaceship, constantly approaching the black hole, constantly attacking, and constantly releasing energy to attack the black hole. It's a pity that those light beams attacked the black hole, but all of them disappeared. The super spaceship consumes a lot of energy, but Su Yan didn't dare to stop at all, attacking the black hole frantically along the way. Suddenly, Su Yan controlled the super spaceship and rushed into the black hole. As for the super fighters inside the super spaceship, Quan Zhu was dumbfounded. How is this going? What happened just now? Those super fighters were all stunned. They looked at the place where they were, and it turned out to be a huge black hole, which was filled with darkness. They couldn't see anything clearly. They couldn't even see anything, as if it was like falling into a black hole. The super soldiers were all stunned in place. What exactly is this place? Why is there such a strange space? Look, those humans are also inside that black hole. At this time, a person suddenly discovered that all the super soldiers in the distance had entered the black hole. One by one, they were all stunned there, they couldn't understand the situation at all, what was going on. How did this black hole form? This black hole actually swallowed all these people. How did those people get into this black hole? Impossible. Among the super spaceships, Su Yan was also stunned. He didn't expect that this black hole was so powerful that it could suck all these people in. Su Yan thought that if these people were not rescued in time, his super spaceship would also be absorbed. Thinking of this, Su Yan controlled the super spacecraft and continued to fly into the black hole. Suddenly, Su Yan's super spaceship slammed into a hard wall, then swayed and was thrown out. Su Yan controlled the super spaceship, flew towards the black hole, and then hit the black hole again, but there was still no way. The super spaceship still couldn't get close to the black hole. The devouring power of this black hole is so strong that it swallowed all these people, and the black hole cannot be destroyed at all. What the hell is going on? The ultra-high speed of the super spaceship, no matter how accelerated it is, it can't get close to the black hole. What's going on? Nua de Zhao. Su Yan frowned, thinking in his heart, could it be that the suction force of this black hole is due to the attraction of the energy body? Su Yan thought about it and felt that this possibility was very high. After all, the energy of a super spaceship is not unlimited, but also limited. If the energy of the super spaceship is insufficient, then the super spaceship will be destroyed. The super soldiers in the super spaceship were all stunned at the moment. They also saw the black hole and those people, but they couldn't control the spaceship to leave the black hole. They could only watch themselves being swallowed by the black hole, unable to break free. What the hell is going on here? The super soldiers were all stunned, they didn't know what happened. How could a black hole appear in front of them? The energy of this black hole is extremely terrifying. After touching the black hole, it was swallowed directly. Su Yan controls the super spaceship and keeps flying, hoping to crack the black hole, enter it, and explore the truth in that mysterious space. No matter what Su Yan did, he couldn't enter that black hole. This black hole seemed endless, no matter how he attacked, he couldn't break the black hole's defense. The energy of the super spaceship has almost been consumed, and the super spaceship has become weaker and weaker. At this time, the energy cover of the super spaceship finally couldn't bear the consumption of the super spaceship, and began to slowly shatter. Boom! The energy shield of the super spaceship shattered. Su Yan controlled the super spaceship, and fell to the ground at once. At this time, the super spacecraft has completely collapsed. Boom! The energy cover of the super spaceship shattered directly. All the super fighters fell from the super spaceship. I don't know if he is dead or in a coma, anyway, there is no sound at all. Su Yan was only slightly injured. He controlled the super spaceship, quickly flew towards the distance, and left this area. Damn, what is going on with this black hole? How can it be so powerful? Su Yan controls the super spaceship while flying. He thinks about this question. This black hole is simply too weird, and the 860 super spaceship was actually swallowed by this black hole. Could it be that this black hole is a black hole that devours the universe? Su Yan couldn't help guessing. In Su Yan's mind, these thoughts kept flickering, thinking about various possibilities. but he couldn't think of a suitable answer. He also didn't understand what this black hole was. He doesn't know exactly how this black hole was formed, where it appeared from, and how it swallowed up these people. I don't know, is he lucky or unlucky this time? This black hole can swallow these people, isn't it incredible? Su-Yen can only think that this black hole should be created by a powerful cosmic civilization. Su-Yen doesn't know how those cosmic civilizations were created, and they are not interested in investigating it. As long as the black hole doesn't swallow other matter, Su-Yen won't bother to care about it. Su-Yen controlled the super spaceship and flew towards the distance, quickly. If he wanted to escape from this place, he didn't dare to stay for a long time, otherwise, he might be in danger, and maybe he would be swallowed up, Dei. He had to escape from here in order to find that mysterious space. Perhaps there could be some useful clues to be found there. It might also be possible to help him find his father. Shoo. Su-Yen manipulated the super spaceship, flying in the void, thinking while flying. He is still unable to determine where this black hole came from. There is one thing that Su-Yen is very sure of: this black hole is definitely not his illusion, but actually exists. A huge black hole is like a cosmic black hole, and those humans who enter it will be swallowed. What is in this black hole? Why does a black hole appear? Could this black hole be set up by a mysterious interstellar civilization? The technology of that interstellar civilization is really too powerful. A huge cosmic black hole can be created, enveloping the entire universe, swallowing the entire planet, and converting the matter of the entire planet into energy. Through the transmission of this black hole, enter another galaxy. How big is this black hole? Where the hell will we be? Could it be in the depths of interstellar space? No, the temperature here is at least hundreds, or even thousands of times, lower than the temperature in interstellar space. Could it be that we have come to a place where there are two heavens of ice and fire? How did this black hole appear? Where the hell are we now? Su-Yen controls the super spaceship to fly, and he flies all the way forward, constantly flying in this space. He did not find the exit. He can only continue flying, and wait until his super spaceship is about to lose its energy supply, and then stop to restore the base. After recovering energy, continue to fly, constantly looking for a way out. He kept flying for 3 days and 3 nights, but he still didn't see a way out. This made Su-Yen anxious and kept flying. His super spaceship had completely lost its energy supply and could only fly. Halfway through the flight, Su-Yen suddenly saw a huge star. The star was suspended next to his super spaceship. Su-Yen immediately controlled the super spaceship and rushed over quickly. He wanted to stop the super spaceship. Then check the super spaceship to see if the super spaceship is damaged. The super spacecraft quickly approached the star, and soon came to the sky above the star. The appearance of this star is a blue oval. This oval-shaped star looks like a big cake, but the surface of this big cake is actually covered with a thick layer of black snow. Even Su-Yen couldn't clearly see what was going on inside the oval star, but Su-Yen could clearly see the surface of this oval star. The surface of this elliptical star is covered with countless fine cracks. And those cracks seem to be slowly spreading, and it seems that they may explode at any time. At this moment, countless fine sounds suddenly sounded, and those fine cracks also began to become more and more dense, as if they would explode at any time. Su-Yen's super spaceship is still some distance away from this huge oval star. Su-Yen couldn't see clearly what happened inside the oval star, and the meaning of these cracks. However, Su-Yen can feel that these cracks seem to contain some kind of terrifying power, which seems to be able to destroy everything, just like the black holes of the universe. The huge oval star trembled constantly, as if a big explosion would happen at any moment. Su-Yen's super spaceship also began to vibrate, as if it was about to fall into this huge oval star. Suddenly, a transparent mask appeared outside the super spaceship, protecting the super spaceship inside. That transparent mask is an energy mask. This mask can resist all attacks, and at the same time, it can also block all attacks. And those cracks disappeared in an instant. If you're enjoying my content, please consider donating a coffee. Or checking out my shirts on TeePublic. Huh. Su-Yan breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, the super spaceship was stabilized. Moreover, everyone in this super spaceship can feel that the transparent defensive energy cover outside the super spaceship has completely protected the super spaceship. Those energy attacks, there is no way to attack the super spaceship. This layer of defensive energy cover can also absorb these attacks, turning those energies into their own nourishment. Huh. Su-Yan let out a long sigh of relief. He controlled the super spaceship and continued to fly forward. Su-Yan didn't know how long he had been flying, nor how far he had flown. Su-Yan's super spaceship has also consumed a lot of energy. However, fortunately the super spaceship has enough reserves. This consumption is nothing to Su-Yan at all. Where is this planet? Could it be that here is a star field? But why haven't I flown out of this planet after flying for so long? Su-Yan looked at the starry sky around him, full of doubts in his heart. In front of his eyes, there are various planets everywhere, but none of them belong to him at all. He couldn't help but think of the previous planet. On that planet, there are mountains and rivers everywhere, tall and magnificent buildings everywhere, and some large spaceships. Their flying speed is very fast, and after flying to a certain level, these aircraft will stop moving forward and change their flight trajectory. On that planet, Su-Yan has also flown several times. He has seen many planets, but this is the first time he has seen so many unknown planets shrouded in this transparent energy barrier. Here, what exactly is it? Is this planet a dead planet? Is this planet a fragment of the universe? Or something else? Su-Yan felt that his mind was very chaotic, and he felt that his head was about to explode. Su-Yan didn't know how to judge the origin of this planet, nor how to make a judgment. No matter what, his super spaceship is still flying. After flying for such a long time, he is already very tired from flying, so he must adjust his state first. So, Su-Yan controlled the super spacecraft, shuttled in the interstellar space, and slowly flew into an extremely huge meteorite. This meteorite is very huge, and its volume is countless times larger than that of a planet. There are still a lot of debris outside this planet, and these debris are like dust. It was constantly floating on the meteorite, constantly being attracted to it, and then fell into the cause of the meteorite. Su-Yan saw that there are many small holes on the meteorite, and the debris in these small holes can absorb the energy in these small holes, thereby increasing the energy concentration in these small holes and strengthening the defense in the small holes' force. This method made Su-Yan dumbfounded. Where is this method on this planet, and how did these meteorites originate? Su-Yan felt that this huge meteorite contained terrifying energy. How many years has this huge meteorite existed in the interstellar space? Su-Yan couldn't think of it, and he didn't dare to guess how long this huge meteorite existed. This was the first time he encountered such a huge meteorite, which was simply too surprising. Su-Yan controlled the super spaceship, and slowly approached the huge meteorite, and the super spaceship began to slow down. Because this meteorite is really too huge, its speed is really too slow, and the super spaceship needs to approach that meteorite slowly. Rumbling. Suddenly, the meteorite vibrated violently. This startled Su-Yan. Is this huge meteorite angry? Su-Yan couldn't help thinking. But this meteorite did not move at all, nor did it show any signs of exploding or exploding. Su-Yan felt that there seemed to be an extremely terrifying energy fluctuation on the huge meteorite, and this energy fluctuation was very powerful. Su-Yan could feel that there was a destructive aura in this wave of energy, as if this huge meteorite was about to explode at any moment. Not only that, this energy is still frantically devouring the power of galaxies in the surrounding galaxies. Asking for flowers. This energy actually devoured the planet's galaxy power, and Su-Yan felt a strong threat. Su-Yan felt that this huge meteorite was very unusual. What is this? Could this meteorite actually absorb the energy of the stars? What's going on here? Could it be that this is a super big star? It shouldn't be. The super big stars are protected by strong protective shields, and they cannot be easily destroyed by people. The mass of this star should be very huge. Even if I want to destroy it, it will take a lot of effort. If it is really a super big star, its volume should be much larger than the super spaceship we are riding on now, right? But this huge planet is only 1 kilometer in size. How can it have such a large volume as a super spaceship? Su Yan thought about this question. The more he thought about it, the more confused he felt, the more he felt that he knew too little about this planet. He just felt that this huge meteorite was very strange. In such a situation, Su Yan couldn't think of any clue. There must be a very terrifying danger on this planet. I'd better not think about these things for now. First find the galaxy we are in now, and then study it slowly, and leave here immediately after I research it. Su Yan thought. So, he controlled the super spaceship and flew towards the center of this huge meteorite. The super spaceship is flying, and Su Yan is not idle. His mind is also running at a high speed. He keeps observing this huge meteorite. He found that this huge meteorite was very special. Because, on the surface of this meteorite, there are cracks everywhere, and those cracks are like cracks. Those cracks are all tiny cracks. These cracks are all hollow, and Su Yan can clearly feel the strong energy transmitted from these cracks. Are these cracks the cracks of the planet? Su Yan looked at these cracks and couldn't help muttering to himself. In Su Yan's imagination, a super spacecraft should be able to travel to another planet through some tiny cracks. It's a pity that Su Yan didn't see the scene inside this crack. Su Yan could only see cracks emerging from the huge meteorite nonstop. There seemed to be a powerful energy contained in these cracks. Su Yan controlled the super spaceship and continued to move forward, flying towards those cracks. He hoped to explore some things from inside, but unfortunately, the distance of these cracks is too far. Even the speed of the super spaceship is not enough to fly too far away. Rumbling. After a few more minutes, the huge meteorite finally stopped trembling. Then, there was another loud noise, and the huge meteorite shook violently again. Su Yan felt that 720, this huge meteorite, seemed to be shaking violently again. Boom. The huge meteorite swayed violently again, and during the swaying, Su Yan felt that his super spaceship was about to lose its balance. What's going on? How could my super spaceship lose its balance? Could it be that this huge meteorite has some special ability? Can it affect my super spaceship? Su Yan was puzzled. The defense ability of the super spaceship is very powerful. How could such a powerful super spaceship lose its balance? Su Yan controlled the super spaceship and tried to stabilize his own super spaceship. At the same time, he also controlled the super spaceship and continued to fly forward. It's a pity that the speed of the super spaceship is almost reaching its limit. Rumble. Su Yan controls the super spaceship and flies along the way. The flight trajectory of his super spaceship is always changing, and his super spaceship is also shaking non-stop. Moreover, Su Yan was very surprised. What kind of secrets does this huge meteorite hold? Su Yan thought to himself. He knew that his super spaceship was not shaking like this because of this huge meteorite. Because this meteorite contains infinite energy, it will make the super spaceship lose its balance. The super spaceship is controlled by Su Yan's superpower, so the stronger the superpower, the easier it is to control the super spaceship. Su Yan controlled the super spaceship and continued to fly forward. From the optical brain in the super spaceship, a cold notification sound came from the system. The energy of the super spaceship is rapidly depleting. Please find supplementary energy as soon as possible. The super spaceship will be paralyzed. Hearing the system prompt, Su Yan was very shocked. Unexpectedly, in this huge meteorite, there is such a terrifying energy that can paralyze the super spaceship. This huge meteorite is simply mysterious. The energy consumption of the super spaceship is increasing. Please find energy as soon as possible to repair the super spaceship. The cold voice of the system rang in Su Yan's mind. Energy consumption is increasing. How long can the energy of the super spaceship last? Su Yan asked. 5 minutes. The system replied. 5 minutes? So long? Hearing this, Su Yan couldn't help being stunned. 5 minutes, according to the current speed of the super spaceship, how long can it withstand the attack of this meteorite? Su Yan thought in his heart, whether it is a super spaceship or a meteorite, they all exist beyond the planet. This super meteorite and the meteorite on the meteorite can make such a terrifying impact sound. It is conceivable that the attack power of this meteorite, what a horror. 5 minutes is equivalent to 1 second, and the attack power of that meteorite is at least the attack power of one body. In the super spaceship, Su Yan also has many high-tech weapons and equipment. Those weapons and equipment can resist 1 trillion attack power. If energy cannon is added, it will have 15 trillion attack power. It can easily destroy a planet. The energy fluctuation on this meteorite has already reached such a level. If this meteorite contains more powerful energy, Su Yan can't even imagine. I don't know how powerful the energy inside this meteorite is. If you can get it, how terrifying it would be. Su Yan thought to himself. Although Su Yan doesn't know how huge this meteorite is, and he doesn't know how terrifying the energy inside this meteorite is, but this meteorite was just hit by Su Yan, which shows that this meteorite the horror of meteorites. Kacha kacha. Suddenly, there were 2 loud bangs again, and the huge meteorite shook violently again. At this time, Su Yan felt that there was a kind of traction inside the super spaceship. This kind of traction was not produced by the super spaceship itself. It's because this huge meteorite fired lasers one after another, and these lasers left white marks one by one in the air. This white trace, floating in the air, looks very beautiful. Could it be that this white trace was caused by the light released by the huge meteorite just now? Su Yan's eyes lit up immediately after seeing this trace. He quickly manipulated the super spaceship to keep up with the trace, then, he controlled the super spaceship and continued to fly forward. Boom! This huge meteorite exploded again. Su Yan's super spaceship shook again, and Su Yan felt that his super spaceship seemed to be unable to bear it anymore. Boom! There was another explosion. Immediately afterwards, this huge meteorite rose abruptly like a mountain peak. This huge meteorite, like a cannonball, struck towards him. Before the impact, large expanses of white energy were released, and the energy turned into strips of light, spreading to the surroundings, forming 2.6 huge energy shields, enveloping the huge meteorite. The power of these energy shields can be described as extremely terrifying. Su Yan felt that the power of this shield was absolutely comparable to the energy cannon in the super battleship. Even if all the energy cannons in the super spaceship were turned on, it might not be able to fight against this huge meteorite. This huge meteorite is really terrifying. Su Yan controlled the super spaceship and quickly avoided the huge meteorite. Su Yan couldn't dodge this huge meteorite at all. This meteorite drew an arc in the air, and hit hard on the shield of the super spaceship. Rumble! One after another, terrifying shock waves raged crazily. The shield of Su Yan's super spaceship shattered in an instant. This terrifying meteorite hit the shield of the super spaceship, and then hit the ground fiercely. Boom! There was a muffled sound. This meteorite hit the ground fiercely, and the shell of the entire super spaceship was also broken. The super spaceship was also severely damaged. Click! A metal plate on the super spaceship was smashed into pieces. Immediately afterwards, all the glass windows on the super spaceship began to collapse, glass fragments fell, and the super spaceship became a mess. Damn, this meteorite is too awesome, isn't it? It can actually crash a super spaceship. Su Yan's eyes widened in disbelief. The defense of the super spaceship is very strong, even the super battleship will break under the impact of this meteorite. Su Yan's super spaceship was only deformed by the meteorite, but not damaged. This shows that this meteorite has powerful destructive power. If it is an ordinary super battleship, it will definitely not be able to stop the impact of this meteorite. A super spaceship is not a super battleship, so the impact force of this meteorite cannot cause any damage to the super spaceship at all. But even a super spacecraft, under the impact of a meteorite, is also injured in the same way. It is worthy of being a super meteorite that can devour energy and absorb energy. Its power far exceeds that of a super battleship, and the power of a super spaceship is far inferior to its terror. Su Sheng muttered to himself. Su Yan now finally understands why super battleships have such terrifying combat effectiveness. This kind of super warship is basically a treasure with powerful attack power. The defense of the super battleship is also very terrifying, even the super spaceship is riddled with holes. This super spaceship can still fly out. Meteorites are different. This meteorite has endless attack power. The energy of this meteorite is also endless. As long as the energy is sufficient, this meteorite can attack infinitely. I don't know how long these super battleships can resist this meteorite. Su Yan muttered to himself. The super spaceship is Su Yan's whole card. If the energy of the super spaceship is exhausted, then there is really no other way because of words. Su Yan can only escape from this planet, or he can only sit and wait to be killed by this meteorite. This huge meteorite looks like a huge monster. Hovering in the sky, it constantly attacked the super spaceship, and the attack range of this huge meteorite gradually became wider and wider as it attacked. This huge meteorite can not only carry out a super attack on Su Yan, but even its attack range will increase, and it can also attack Su Yan from the sky, which also doubles the pressure on Su Yan. However, this huge meteorite did not attack the inside of the super spaceship. Su Yan's super spaceship has a very terrifying defense capability. Under the protection of the super battleship, the super spacecraft will not be destroyed at all. This huge meteorite can only cause a little damage to the super spaceship, and will not hurt the super spaceship itself. This meteorite seems to be an inexhaustible source of energy. This huge meteorite kept bombarding the super spaceship, hitting the surface of the super spaceship continuously, making the shield of the super spaceship crumbling. It's almost time, just hold on for a while longer, our super battleship can withstand this meteorite for a long time, Su Yan thought to himself. I don't know if this huge meteorite was tired, but it actually lowered its altitude slowly. Su Yan discovered that there is a small planet under this huge meteorite, and energy is being bred on this small planet. This small planet is the life planet of human beings. The living planet of human beings is the smallest and most beautiful among countless planets. The environment on this small planet is relatively more complicated, with countless mineral resources. Su Yan laughed secretly in his heart. At this time, the super spaceship was about to be smashed to pieces. Inside the super spaceship, there were countless warehouses. Su Yan can use the energy of the super battleship on the Curry side to supplement the energy inside the super spaceship. The energy shield on the super spaceship appeared again, protecting Su, please. Bang bang bang. The meteorite hit the energy shield of the super spaceship, making a violent impact sound, making the super spaceship tremble. The super spaceship was vibrating violently, and this huge meteorite was still intensifying its attack, hitting the super spaceship non-stop. Although the super spaceship is very powerful, it can ignore the attack of the super battleship, but the super spaceship can only resist for a second or two. When the energy is exhausted, the super spaceship will lose all defense capabilities. It is directly hit by this huge meteorite. Stoned to death. Therefore, in this case, the super spaceship must resolve the battle as soon as possible. Super armor. Su Yan immediately put on the super armor. The super battle armor turned into a stream of light, and in an instant, it flew into the sky, and flew towards the trajectory of the meteorite impact. Faster than the speed of that meteorite. The speed can almost reach the speed of light. It's already scary. Call out. A piercing sound came, and Su Yan had already caught up with the meteorite. Boom. The super battle armor slammed into the meteorite, and the speed in the super battle was extremely fast. Although the size of the 920 super armor is huge, the impact on the meteorite did not cause the meteorite to suffer any damage. The impact of the super armor caused the meteorite to shake slightly. The super armor didn't take much damage either. As expected of a meteorite, it is really hard enough. Su Yan sighed. He now knew how powerful this meteorite is. His super spaceship can withstand the attack of this meteorite. The super spacecraft can only resist for a few minutes. Boom! This meteorite continued to collide forward, and Su Yan's super spaceship, not to be outdone, also struck towards the meteorite, and the two meteorites collided suddenly. Boom! The super armor and this meteorite collided violently, and it exploded immediately. Countless flames splashed, and the entire super armor was blown away by the explosion, and cracks appeared on the surface of the super armor. Under the huge explosive force, the super battle armor became a bit dim, as if it would be broken at any time. Su Yan looked at the cracks on the super armor with distress. There was still a lot of energy stored in his super spaceship, but a lot of energy had been consumed by the collision just now. This meteorite is really not simple. Su Yan sighed. It seems that I need to do my best. The energy of the super armor is not endless. If Su Yan encounters another meteorite, Su Yan can only resist it for a few minutes at most. The speed of this meteorite is too fast, and there is no way to dodge it. Boom! Another meteorite attack hit the energy cover of the super spaceship, shaking the outer energy cover of the super spaceship. No, it can't go on like this. Su Yan frowned and said, it is impossible for his energy shield to last for a long time. However, I finally found a weapon that fit the bill. The corner of Su Yan's mouth drew a strange arc. With a thought, Su Yan took out a round object. This round thing is golden yellow in color, exuding strong energy fluctuations. This is my baby. This is the core of a meteorite I got from a meteorite. Su Yan said. This meteorite core is the meteorite that Su Yan obtained on the meteorite, because Su Yan's super armor is constructed from meteorites. The super armor can absorb the energy contained in the meteorite. This meteorite was also swallowed by the super spaceship. It was Su Yan who took it from a meteorite. It is the most important weapon of the super armor, and the defense of the super armor depends on this super core. What is this? Meteor core? Could it be that Su Yan is going to use the meteorite core? This is the core of the meteorite. It is formed by the condensation of the essence in the meteorite, and it contains huge energy. Everyone looked at the meteorite core in Su Yan's hand and started talking. Holding the core of the meteorite in his hand, Su Yan was also excited. If he can use the meteorite core, then he will not be afraid of any energy-based attacks. He can even directly use the meteorite core to resist the defensive ability of the super armor, so that the defensive ability of the super armor can go further and become stronger. Su Yan put the core of the meteorite in front of his eyes, carefully observing the surface of the meteorite. Click! On the surface of the meteorite, cracks appeared, which looked like spider webs. Did you make it? Su Yan was also looking forward to it. Suddenly, the cracks on the surface of the meteorite suddenly disappeared. What's going on here? Su Yan looked at the meteorite in surprise. The cracks on the surface of the meteorite have disappeared, and there are no cracks on the surface of the meteorite. This meteorite can actually eliminate cracks. Su Yan couldn't help being shocked when he saw this scene. Anyway, try it out first. Su Yan took a deep breath, and then injected energy into the meteorite. ZZ. The cracks on the surface of the meteorite healed quickly, and in the blink of an eye, it returned to its original shape. Sure enough, it worked. Sure enough, this meteorite is a treasure. A joyful smile appeared on Su Yan's face. This meteorite is a super baby. The energy cover of the super armor can withstand the attack on the super armor, but it cannot resist the attack on this meteorite. If it can withstand the attack on the meteorite, the defense ability of the super armor will be doubled. The defensive ability of the super battle armor can resist ordinary super power attacks, and if the meteorite attacks, it can break through the super battle armor. Then the defensive ability of the super armor will be greatly reduced, and the attack on this meteorite can break through the defensive ability of the super armor. Suddenly, Su Yan felt that there was a special energy surging on the surface of this meteorite. Huh? This meteorite is still in the energy-absorbing zone. Su Yan felt that the meteorite was absorbing energy. Therefore, Su Yan controlled the super energy of the super armor and started to operate slowly. The energy in the super battle armor is frantically transporting energy. Su Yan controlled the transmission speed of the energy inside the super armor, and it increased many times at once. The energy in the super armor is continuously absorbed by the super armor, enters the interior of the meteorite, and then feeds back. The light emitted from the meteorite is getting brighter and brighter. It seems to have worked. Su Yan looked at the meteorite. The strands of white light are super energy. These strands of white light continuously penetrated, and then merged into the energy on the meteorite, increasing the attack power of the meteorite. How is this going? Su Yan was full of doubts. He still didn't know what was going on, but the energy inside the super armor was continuously absorbed by the energy of this meteorite. Su Yan could clearly see that the energy on the meteorite was skyrocketing crazily, and the energy inside the super armor was also rapidly passing away. Although my super armor is more valuable than ordinary super armor, it is a super armor after all. It also has a certain limit, and its energy supply will also be greatly affected. It is impossible to support this forever. Super armor. Su Yan thought to himself. This super armor is also a kind of super armor. It is an evolution version of the super armor. The energy contained in it has reached a terrifying level. The evolution of the super armor also takes time, and it cannot last long. Once the energy of the super armor is insufficient, the super armor will automatically shut down. Su Yan thought to himself, how many years can this meteorite last? Su Yan is not sure whether the energy of this meteorite can support him to lead this cosmic ball, so he is not sure how long he can last. The cracks on the core of the meteorite are gradually receding, and will soon disappear completely. There is no crack or damage on the core of the meteorite. Ha ha ha, success! Su Yan was ecstatic. On the super armor, there is a mysterious meteorite, which can absorb other people's energy at will, and then feed it back to the super armor. I can now control the super armor, and I can use the attack ability inside the super armor. Moreover, the energy in this meteorite seems to be able to enhance the defense ability of my super armor. Su Yan thought to himself. Afterwards, Yin Yan manipulated the super spaceship to head to other planets. Su Yan's spaceship flew all the way, shuttled through planet after planet, and continued to study the meteorite while flying. This meteorite is the nemesis of the super armor. The defensive ability of the super armor can only support the attack ability of this meteorite, and cannot improve the attack ability of the super armor. Su Yan thought to himself. My goal is to destroy this meteorite. Su Yan said, Ja. He still has no way to completely destroy the meteorite, he can only exhaust the energy inside the meteorite. I don't know what material I used to build the armor to destroy this meteorite. Su Yan thought about it and decided to use some materials to polish this meteorite. With a thought in Su Yan's mind, the materials in the super spaceship appeared in front of him. Is the energy stored in the super armor enough? Su Yan asked the system. Ding, the energy stored in the super armor is enough, and the attack ability can be used. Very good. Su Yan controlled the attack ability in the super armor, and fired a super energy cannon towards the meteorite. This super energy cannon is a cannonball with a very fast speed, which shattered the shell of the meteorite in an instant. The outer shell of this meteorite shattered, and the energy inside the meteorite also began to flow away. Continue. The super armor controlled the super energy of the super armor, and fired several super energy cannons at the meteorite in succession. The energy inside the super armor was almost exhausted, but Su Yan didn't stop attacking the meteorite. The defensive ability of this meteorite is very strong, but such a meteorite does not pose much threat to the super armor. Boom! A huge explosion sound came from 960. This meteorite was hit by the attack ability of the super armor, and the core part of the meteorite collapsed directly. This meteorite also completely collapsed. The energy inside the super meteorite can not only provide the attack capability of the super armor, but also provide energy. After using the energy, the super armor can provide a lot of energy, which also makes the attack power of the super armor very tyrannical. Finally solved. Su Yan breathed a sigh of relief. The super armor can improve his attack and defense power, but it is also very heavy on the body. Su Yan's strength is too weak, so the attack ability of the super armor cannot be sustained too long. This experiment was very successful. Su Yan is very happy that this problem can be solved, and Su Yan's plan has progressed a lot. The texture of this meteorite is very hard, and the ability of the super armor can't destroy this meteorite at all. My super armor can withstand ordinary super energy shock waves, but it can't withstand too much attack energy impact, which means the energy in a meteorite can make the super armor withstand more energy impacts, thereby improving the defense ability of the super armor, so that the defense ability of the super armor can reach about twice the defense ability of super energy. Su Yan thought to himself. The super energy in the super battle armor has reached twice the super energy defense capability. The next step is to destroy the core of the meteorite. The core of this meteorite is very huge, and the energy stored in it is very powerful and cannot be destroyed in a short time. Moreover, there are many energy life forms and countless intelligent life forms inside. These intelligent life forms are very dangerous. However, I am not afraid of these intelligent life forms. The defense of my super armor has reached double that of super energy defense. This is my super armor, which can withstand the impact of super energy, as well as the super energy shield. This kind of energy shield is very difficult to destroy. I with confidence leave a hole on the surface of this meteorite, so that the super armor can drill in and modify the interior of this meteorite. Su Yan thought. Let's put this meteorite inside the super spaceship first, and when I find a suitable place, I will let the super spaceship bring it in. As Su Yan said, he controlled the spaceship and flew in another direction. The speed of the spacecraft was very fast, and soon disappeared into the vast space. However, the defensive ability of the super battle armor still maintains the best condition. Su Yan controlled the super armor and continued to fly. The flying speed of the super armor was very fast, and soon passed through several star fields, and came to the deepest part of the star field. Dab, the super armor suddenly stopped moving forward, because there was an energy fluctuation in the void in front of the super armor, and the fluctuation became more and more intense, and even caused the owner of the super armor to panic. Vigilance. Anyway, go and have a look. Su Yan thought in his heart. Thus, the super battle armor rushed forward and bumped into this fluctuating energy. Boom! This energy was easily destroyed by the super armor, and the super armor continued to move forward, penetrated the energy, and entered a space. Hiss! The eyes of the super armor scanned the surrounding situation. This is a huge star. The surface of this star is filled with gray mist, which looks very mysterious. And on the surface of this piece of stars, there is a huge group of gray gas suspended. This group of gas looks like a group of gray clouds, very huge. Su Yan's super armor flew above the gray cloud. At this time, Su Yan felt that there was a terrifying existence in this gray cloud. This terrifying existence exuded a strong death energy. This energy was very strong. If Su Yan approached, he would definitely be caught by this intense energy, instant kill. This strong energy is definitely the energy contained in the meteorite. Su Yan sensed it. This huge energy is much larger than the energy in the previous meteorite. Although the energy of this meteorite is huge, it is still too small, compared to the super energy inside the super armor. I don't know what treasures are hidden in this energy? Su Yan secretly guessed in his heart. The treasures in the inner space of the super armor cannot be known by others, otherwise Su Yan will be in danger, so he can only explore this meteorite slowly. Su Yan's super armor moves on. The super armor flew right under the meteorite. Click! The super battle armor spun violently, cutting the entire meteorite in half. This meteorite was immediately decomposed into countless blocks by the super armor, and fell down. The super armor collects meteorite materials. Su Yan looked at these materials and shook his head slightly. Although the super armor is very strong, these meteorite materials are a bit useless for the super armor. It can't improve the defense ability of the super armor, but it is a waste of the value of the super armor. Su Yan thought to himself. He controls the super armor and moves on, collecting meteorites. Rumble. The meteorite fell, and the constant roar was deafening. On this meteorite, countless meteorite slags continuously burst out. The super armor continuously absorbs the energy of meteorites. The volume of this meteorite is getting bigger and bigger, and the energy of the meteorite is also getting more and more abundant. Thank you for watching Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.